All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're cracking open a really complex archive of documents that tells one heck of a story. And look, this isn't about little green men. This is about a serious, decades-long effort to get UFO disclosure and the incredibly powerful covert operations that, according to this archive, did everything they could to stop it.
You know, this quote from the archive really gets to the heart of the matter. It perfectly sets the stage for what we're talking about today, which is this high-stakes battle over who gets to know what, who controls the information, and why is that control defended so fiercely. That tension is at the absolute core of this whole story.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the official push for transparency. Then we'll hit the wall of secrecy that was apparently thrown up in response. And from there, believe me, we're going deeper into a world of alleged infiltration, high-level threats, and a final deception that is just, wow.
Okay, so our story, as laid out in these documents, really kicks off back in the 1990s. It starts with an initiative by Dr. Stephen Greer to brief the Clinton administration. And the goal here was huge. Get the president to sign executive orders to release classified UFO files. And, this is key, to legally protect any whistleblowers who dared to come forward. But you know, this push for the truth was apparently met with a brick wall of denial and, well, obfuscation. To really get a handle on this, the archive introduces a pretty wild concept. The idea that some of the most powerful people on the inside of government are actually completely on the outside.
And here's the term for it. The inverse witness. So what does that even mean? Well, the source defines it as a situation where secrets aren't just being kept, they're being actively kept from the very people you'd assume are in the know. We're talking heads of Senate committees, top military brass, you name it. They have the clearance, but they're intentionally kept in the dark.
And the documents give some pretty incredible examples. You've got Senator Barry Goldwater, a former presidential nominee and a general in the Air Force, who was famously chewed out by General Curtis LeMay just for asking about the Blue Room at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He was told to never, ever ask about it again. Then you have Senator John Warner, who, when asked directly, would allegedly just use his old counterintelligence training to completely ignore the question and change the subject. Just crickets. Okay, so this is where the story takes a really dark turn. The archive claims that as this disclosure movement started to pick up real steam, a covert counteroffensive was launched. And this part of the story focuses on the philanthropist Lawrence Rockefeller, whose genuine efforts were supposedly twisted and used against the very cause he was trying to support. So here's how the source claims it all went down. Step 1. Rockefeller agrees to fund the project. But unbeknownst to him, his inner circle is allegedly infiltrated by operatives. Then, his money is secretly siphoned off and used for psychological operations. And the final blow? Briefing documents prepared by Dr. Greer are reportedly stolen, and then an operative named Bootsy Galbraith actually copyrights them. Talk about bold. And if you thought that was intense, hold on, because this is where things allegedly escalate from sneaky subversion to straight-up, direct threats against some of the most powerful people in the world. It seems that when you're at that level, simple curiosity can carry an extremely high price. I mean, the archive lays out some really chilling examples. It says that after Senator Goldwater agreed to help out by contacting Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, he got a warning that was so severe it threatened his entire family. It claims the UN Secretary General, Pers de Cuellar, was put through a terrifying, staged alien abduction just to shut down a disclosure plan, and that Prince Albert of Monaco was blackmailed with a personal file to get him to back off funding for new energy research. All right, now we're getting to the core of it, the most mind-bending and extraordinary claim in this entire archive. It alleges that much of what we think of as the alien abduction phenomenon isn't alien at all. It's an incredibly elaborate, man-made psychological operation. In the world of intelligence, they apparently call this stagecraft. So how could they possibly pull something like that off? Well, according to the source, the key is something called alien reproduction vehicles, or ARVs. The claim is that these are not alien ships. They're human-made craft that are so advanced they can perfectly mimic the real thing. And it was one of these ARVs, the archive alleges, that was used in that staged abduction of the UN Secretary General to scare him and other world leaders into silence. And the deception, the source argues, was brilliant because it was multi-layered. It's like a magic trick, right? While the public was fascinated by the CIA's remote viewing programs, that was all allegedly just a distraction, getting you to look at the wrong hand. According to this archive, the real secret work was being done on these things called TAC/CAT systems, technology supposedly designed to link the human mind directly to these advanced machines. But that just raises a huge question, doesn't it? Why? Why would anyone allegedly go to all this trouble to promote this kind of disinformation? Well, this quote from the source offers one possible motivation. It alleges that a major funder of abduction research, Prince Hans Adam of Liechtenstein, held this intense belief that an interplanetary war was a necessary evil to bring about the Second Coming. This conviction, the source suggests, led him to unknowingly fund and push this whole alien threat narrative.
So, as we get towards the end of this archive, the whole narrative kind of shifts. The conclusion is that mind-blowing advances in technology have completely changed the game, making all the old-school forms of secrecy and the power structures they support totally obsolete.
And this is where it gets really wild. The source makes the absolutely staggering claim that there are no secure places left. None. It alleges that advanced trans-dimensional surveillance tech can see through any wall, any barrier, in real time. This makes even top-secret facilities, SIFs, completely useless. As proof, the source points to an incident where Admiral Inman apparently went on the radio to deny his involvement in these programs just one day after his name was brought up inside one of those supposedly secure rooms. The walls have ears, and then some.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, the archive basically makes a direct appeal with a very simple line of reasoning. If these secret projects are illegal, which the source absolutely argues they are, and if you can't actually keep them secret anymore, well, then any non-disclosure agreement a whistleblower signed is legally worthless. The threats are empty because the secrets are already out. And that leaves us with this one final really big question that stems from everything in this archive. If true secrecy is now just an illusion, then why go to all the trouble to maintain the facade? What is the real purpose of keeping it all under wraps? It's a question that really forces you to think about power, control, and what the future of information even looks like. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.